All right, so today we are going deep on the National Institute for Scientific and Industrial Research in Zambia.
NISIR.
NISIR, yeah. And they are doing some seriously cool stuff. I mean, we're talking tackling climate change, boosting local businesses,
Eating snacks.
even snacks, right?
Uh-huh.
All with a very specific Zambian twist. And we've got this document
Oh, yeah.
with all of their research centers and projects, and it's fascinating stuff.
It really is. I mean, what I think is so interesting about NISIR is how they're taking this cutting-edge science
Yeah.
and applying it to make actual practical solutions,
Yeah.
almost like a bridge connecting big industries and small businesses with research to help them thrive.
Yeah, and they're doing it all over Zambia. They've got these 3 different campuses.
Yeah, covering the whole country.
It's really incredible. So today, we're going to look at how they're making a real difference in Zambia and maybe even beyond.
Right, because that's really what their mission is,
Yeah.
to be the leading institution providing solutions for sustainable socioeconomic development through research and innovation.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is. Basically, they're tackling the challenges facing Zambia head on,
Yeah,
using science and technology to make lives better.
love it. Okay, let's start with the Materials Engineering and Technical Services Center. So MEETS.
Meats, yeah.
They're involved in like everything, alternative energy sources, waste into useful products.
Yeah, even glass blowing.
Glass blowing, really.
Yeah, it's a really interesting detail. It shows how they're pretty self-reliant,
Yeah.
saving money by making sure researchers have everything they need.
Right there on site.
Exactly.
So this is where it gets really interesting. They're working on purifying biogas using a membrane made from corn stalks and maize cobs.
Yeah, so they're taking agricultural byproducts, things that are readily available,
Right?
and they're turning it into this membrane that cleans biogas, and then they can use that biogas as a fuel source, which is way more environmentally friendly.
So you're saying these rural communities all across Zambia
Yeah.
could be powering their homes with clean energy just from corn stalks?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's really a great way to address energy needs while being kind to the planet.
I mean, talk about sustainability.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Meats isn't stopping there.
Oh, no.
They've also got a mobile biofuels unit that makes biofuel from local feedstocks.
Okay. That is impressive. But what I really love is how they're incorporating social impact into this whole project.
Oh, yeah? Huh.
They're empowering women by creating this outgrower scheme where women supply fuel-grade ethanol.
Oh, wow.
So it's like a win-win.
Yeah.
Cleaner fuel and economic empowerment.
It really shows that science isn't just about, lab coats and experiments.
Yeah.
It's about people,
Yeah.
communities using innovation to make real change.
Okay, speaking of energy, the Energy Development Research Center is tackling this from a couple of really different angles.
Yeah.
On the one hand, they're exploring nuclear energy,
Uh-huh.
and then on the other hand, they're all about renewables. What does the future of energy look like in Zambia?
Well, they're using some pretty high-tech equipment to research nuclear energy and how it could fit into their energy mix.
Right.
It's not a simple issue.
Yeah.
There are pros and cons
Yeah.
that they need to consider carefully.
Makes sense. And then on that renewables side, what kind of projects are they working on?
Well, they're looking at solar power, which
Sure.
would, reduce Zambia's reliance on fossil fuels.
Right.
And then wind energy, those big wind turbines you see, converting wind into electricity.
Oh, yeah.
They're even exploring biodiesel, which is fuel produced from organic material.
Okay, so they're leaving no stone unturned.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
They're really trying to find the best solution.
For Zambia's energy future.
Exactly.
So what happens when science meets the digital world?
That's where the Digital Transformation and Strategic Information Center comes in.
Okay.
They're all about modernizing how information is managed and used, particularly when it comes to research, creating resources and tools that connect industry and academia.
I really liked their industrial cluster database. It's like a matchmaking service for businesses and research institutions to collaborate.
Yeah, you bring those two together.
Yeah,
And it's a recipe for innovation and economic growth.
totally. But this is what I thought was really fascinating. They're systematically identifying and documenting indigenous plants and trees.
Oh yeah, it's an ambitious project. Blending traditional knowledge with science,
Wow.
creating a library of Zambia's natural heritage.
Who knows what they'll find? New medicines,
Yeah.
agricultural breakthroughs,
That's
all from nature and a little scientific investigation.
exactly.
Okay, on to the Animal Science Research Center. So they're dealing with everything from livestock health to food safety, even getting into biotechnology.
Yeah, so they have a biotechnology lab that monitors genetically modified organisms.
GMOs.
Yeah, GMOs in food products.
To make sure that the food supply meets safety standards.
Right. Aligned with the country's biosafety regulations.
It's good to know someone is on top of that.
Oh, yeah. And then there's the Livestock Productivity and Disease Control Laboratory.
Okay.
They're focused on improving livestock health and reproduction.
Especially for those smallholder farmers.
Yes, because they rely on their livestock.
Absolutely.
So healthy animals means a secure food supply and more economic stability.
But the lab that really grabbed my attention was the mycotoxicology laboratory.
Oh, yeah. What about it?
I mean, what are mycotoxins? It's not something I think about every day.
Right. Well, they're these toxic substances that are produced by certain fungi that can contaminate food crops,
Okay.
like groundnuts and maize.
Yeah.
And they can be super harmful to humans and animals.
Wow.
And can even cause economic losses for farmers because of contamination.
Okay, that is a serious issue. So how are they combating that threat?
Well, they developed something called AflaSafe, which is a biocontrol agent that really reduces the aflatoxin contamination.
So they're fighting toxins with a natural solution.
Pretty much.
That is remarkable. It's protecting people's health, helping farmers produce safer crops.
Right.
Boosting the economy, strengthening food security.
Yeah, they're hitting it out of the park.
Yeah, they are. And we've only just scratched the surface.
There's still so much more.
I know. We've got the Plant Science Research Center combating diseases and improving food security, and even their work on herbal medicines.
Oh, yeah, don't forget about that.
All right, let's dive into the world of plants and medicine.
Let's do it. The Plant Science Research Center has a really cool history. I mean, they started out focusing on improving tree species, but it's grown so much, they're dealing with human health, food security, even the cosmetics industry.
Now you've got me curious. What kind of things have they accomplished?
Well, for one, they developed a formulation to fight bilharzia,
Bilharzia.
which is this parasitic disease affecting millions in Africa.
Oh, wow.
And they've been really successful at propagating trees like mpundu, masuku, and mungongo, which are used for drinks, and also really nutritious.
I love how they're using local resources
Yeah.
to address these huge problems. So what are they up to now?
Well, right now, a big focus is developing better root crops to improve food security in Zambia.
Okay.
And they're also researching how to use mucula trees.
Mucula trees.
Yeah, for climate change and for cleaning up land damaged by mining.
I've heard of mucula trees. They're pretty valuable.
They are?
But how can they help with climate change and mine cleanup?
Well, they can absorb a lot of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere,
Okay.
which helps with climate change.
Right.
And they can actually thrive in soil that's been contaminated by mining,
Wow.
helping to bring those ecosystems back to life.
So they're valuable and environmentally friendly?
Exactly.
Double whammy. What else are they working on?
They're also conserving and domesticating wild plants that can grow in really dry areas.
No, that's smart, especially with climate change.
Exactly.
Making sure there's food even when the rains aren't reliable.
Right. And another interesting thing is they're setting up this natural products and pharmaceutical pilot plant
Right.
to produce affordable herbal medicines.
That could really change things for healthcare in Zambia.
Yeah, especially for communities that don't have easy access to medicine.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we've talked about the science, but what about the people behind it?
Oh, yeah.
I'm really impressed with how committed they are to fostering the next generation of scientists.
Yeah, they have this amazing youth mentorship program
Oh, yeah.
that connects young science grads with people in different industries.
Hands-on experience.
Exactly, helping them apply their knowledge and develop real-world skills.
So it's not just learning the science,
Correct.
it's about using it.
Yeah, they're also working closely with the Engineering Institute of Zambia to help young innovators
Oh, wow.
showcase their work.
What kind of things are they doing?
Well, for example, they help get young innovators to present their prototypes at the EIZ's annual meeting.
That's a great opportunity.
Yeah, putting them in front of people who can help them.
And develop their ideas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about fostering that culture of innovation.
Yeah.
And, showing young people that they can really make a difference.
I love it. So no institution operates in a vacuum. What kind of collaborations does NISIR have?
Well, they've built some really strong partnerships,
Okay.
both in Zambia and internationally.
Great.
For instance, they work with the National Science and Technology Council to provide technical support and lab resources to researchers all across the country.
That's essential.
Yeah, spreading the knowledge and resources around.
Exactly. What other partnerships have they got?
Well, they're working with a company called Zengo
Okay.
that focuses on clean cooking solutions to make better cook stoves.
That's such a practical project.
It really is. Access to those cook stoves
Yeah.
can make a huge difference for health, and the environment.
Especially in those rural communities.
Right, and they're collaborating with the International Atomic Energy Agency
Wow.
on nuclear energy research and capacity building.
Okay.
And they're working with groups like USA on food safety and nutrition projects.
It's great to see them so engaged
Yeah.
with these international partners,
Yeah.
contributing to those global challenges.
Definitely. So I have to admit, when I first saw glass blowing listed as one of NISIR's services, I
Yeah.
was like, wait, what?
It seemed a little out of place.
Yeah, it might seem that way, but glass blowing is super important for research,
Oh, okay.
especially in things like chemistry and biology.
Right.
So they realized they needed to have that in-house,
Makes sense.
and they started their glass blowing section way back in 1975.
Wow, smart move.
Yeah.
They're saving money and making sure their research can keep going.
Exactly. Plus, they have this ceramics section
Okay.
that produces all sorts of stuff.
Whoa.
The decorative, like flower pots and vases,
Okay.
to more practical things like tandoori ovens
No way.
and even plaster of Paris.
Plaster of Paris. Who knew?
Yeah. It's amazing how they apply their skills in material science to make stuff that people can actually use.
So they're not just scientists.
Right.
They're inventors.
Yeah.
Creators.
And what else are they making?
I don't know. You tell me.
They're even making pavers,
Pavers.
like for roads and walkways.
So they're helping build Zambia's infrastructure.
Yeah, it's really impressive. They're always finding ways to turn their knowledge into something that benefits people.
Absolutely. And it all comes back to sustainability,
It does.
which is like a thread through all of their work.
Yeah, whether it's renewable energy or
Mhm.
turning waste into products.
Or protecting those indigenous plants.
Exactly. Sustainability is front and center.
They're not just talking about it,
Right.
they're living it.
They really are.
Yeah,
And it's a great example for other institutions.
totally. Showing that science and sustainability can go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't have to choose one or the other.
They work together to create a better future.
Exactly. Speaking of a better future, their work in food science is pretty amazing.
Okay, bring on the food.
The Food Science Research Center is doing cutting-edge work in food technology and nutrition.
And they've got all sorts of different labs and projects.
They do. What are some of the things that caught your eye?
Well, I'm interested in their labs.
Okay, well, they have this nutrition clinical laboratory that uses these high-tech isotopic techniques to analyze what people's bodies are made up of.
Oh, wow.
So they can really understand people's nutritional needs.
That's incredible. What other labs do they have?
They have a food chemistry laboratory
Okay,
where they look at the composition of food.
to make sure it's safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's the food microbiology laboratory,
Food microbiology.
which focuses on keeping our food free from harmful bacteria.
Okay, so they're covering all the bases when it comes to food safety.
They really are. But they're not just stuck in the lab.
Right.
They're putting their research into practice.
How?
Well, they have this vegetable pilot plant
Okay.
that has the potential to really change how local produce is processed,
Oh, wow.
adding value and reducing waste.
I like it. And they've done some really cool projects in the past.
Oh, yeah, they have. Like
Yeah.
they came up with a way to make dried tomato powder.
Dried tomato powder.
Yeah, it's a great way to keep tomatoes from spoiling,
That's super practical.
especially where refrigeration is hard to come by.
Makes sense. What other projects stand out?
Well, remember how they developed those nutritious blends
Mm-hmm.
using cowpeas and bamboo nuts,
Yeah.
addressing food security and encouraging people to eat a variety of foods?
Yeah.
And they were part of this national project looking at HIV-infected people on antiretroviral therapy
Wow.
and how their metabolism worked.
It's amazing how they're thinking about food in all these different ways.
It is. They're looking at everything
Right.
from how it's produced
Yeah,
to how it affects our health.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered land, animals, plants, and food.
What's left?
Water and the environment.
The final frontier.
Your Water and Environment Research Center has to be playing a key role.
It really is. They're focused on keeping Zambia's ecosystems healthy
Yeah.
and helping the people who rely on them.
So it's about water quality
Mhm.
and environmental monitoring.
Yeah, they have these labs dedicated to water chemistry and microbiology,
Okay.
where they test the water to make sure communities have safe drinking water.
That's crucial.
It is.
Yeah.
And they're doing research in cholera-prone areas
Right.
and in newly developed places.
So important for public health.
It really is.
What else? Well, what else are they researching?
They're also quantifying greenhouse gas emissions from landfills,
Wow.
which is super important for figuring out how to deal with climate change.
Makes sense.
And it's not just about water.
Right.
They're tackling those broader environmental problems facing Zambia.
And I read that they're really committed to building capacity
Oh, yeah.
Like they do consulting, they have internships and demonstrations for students.
Yeah, they're training the next generation.
It's fantastic.
It is. They're making sure their knowledge is shared and that there are people to carry on their work.
They're not just looking for quick fixes.
Right.
They're building something that will last.
Exactly. And of course, sustainability is central to all of it
Of course.
because protecting the environment is about more than just conservation.
It's about people's lives.
Yeah, ensuring a healthy and prosperous future for all Zambians.
It's really inspiring
It is.
to see them leading the way in all these areas.
Yeah, from energy and agriculture to public health.
It's clear that they're committed to making a difference.
They really are.
What do you think is the most remarkable thing about them?
That's a tough one.
It is. There's so much.
I think it's how they connect the research with real-world solutions.
Yeah, they're not just generating knowledge.
Right.
They're putting it to work.
Exactly. They've found a way to make science a real force for change in Zambia.
And it's not just Zambia.
Right.
Their work on climate change, renewable energy, food security, all of that is relevant to the whole world.
Definitely. Their commitment to finding solutions through collaboration and innovation,
Yeah.
it's a real sign of hope for the future.
So as we start to wrap up this deep dive into NISIR, what are your takeaways? What really stood out to you?
I don't know, there's so much. Did you love their dedication to local communities?
Yeah.
Like with that mobile biofuels unit?
Or maybe you were fascinated by the potential of those indigenous plants,
Yeah, so many
of
possibilities.
their commitment to training future scientists.
Yeah, we've only scratched the surface here.
We have.
But hopefully we've given you a taste of the amazing work they're doing.
In Zambia and beyond.
And remember, knowledge is powerful when you share it.
Absolutely.
So take what you've learned
Yeah.
and see how it connects to your own life, your own community,
Yeah.
and your own vision for the future.
Who knows, maybe you'll be inspired to connect with NISIR,
Yeah.
explore their work even more.
Or find ways to support them.
Their story shows that science can really be a force for good,
Absolutely.
and that innovation can create a brighter future for all of us. Looking back, it's amazing to see everything NISIR is involved in.
They're tackling so many big challenges.
Energy, agriculture, public health, and they always seem to come back to sustainability.
It really is at the core of everything they do, not just a trendy word.
Right, it's built in like that biogas project.
Yeah.
They're not just making cleaner energy,
Yeah.
they're using stuff that would have just been thrown away.
It's a perfect example of the circular economy.
Yeah, turning a problem into something useful. And their biofuels work also fits right in.
Absolutely. Finding alternatives to fossil fuels.
Right, reducing our dependence on those.
Right.
And it goes beyond just energy. Their research on indigenous plants and trees,
Oh, yeah.
it's all about understanding and protecting that biodiversity.
Yeah.
Using that traditional knowledge.
Right.
Finding new things in nature for medicine, agriculture, even cosmetics.
It's amazing.
It's like they see how everything is connected. The
Yeah.
environment, human health, even how the economy develops.
Yeah.
And their mycotoxin research is a great example.
Uh-huh.
They're reducing aflatoxin contamination.
Right.
And that protects health, makes sure there's enough food, and helps those farmers make a living.
It really shows how science can help build a more sustainable and fair world.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into NISIR,
Yeah.
what are your big takeaways? What really sparked your curiosity?
Was it how they empower those local communities?
Yeah.
Through things like that mobile biofuels unit.
Or maybe their focus on training the next generation of scientists.
All those internships and mentors.
You've just scratched the surface.
I know, right?
But hopefully we've shown you the incredible impact they're having.
In Zambia and beyond.
Absolutely. Remember, knowledge is power.
It really is.
When it's shared and when we use it.
So take what you've learned today
Yeah.
and see how it connects to your own life
To your community.
and to what you want the future to look like.
Maybe you'll even be inspired to connect with NISIR yourself.
Yeah.
Learn more about their work.
Maybe even find a way to support their mission.
It's a story about how science can make a real difference
A force for good.
and how innovation can help create a brighter future for everyone.